Hello everybody, Clive5 here, bringing you another StarCraft match. This one is a rousing TVT between, well, of course, ChaoxTech, but who else? I'll give you a hint. He's got quite a big name. He also plays Terran, like I said. He is not from the US. He's in fact from the UK. Can anyone guess? He might text chat back here. Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? There you go, DeMusliM. ChaoxTech is playing against DeMusliM, which is nothing short of incredible, really. So yeah, what can I say about DeMusliM? I've done a lot of talking about ChaoxTech in the past, so let me talk about DeMusliM instead. He is originally from the UK, so he is a foreigner, and by that I mean he is not Korean. A lot of times we think of foreigners as not American, but in the StarCraft universe, foreigner is a non-Korean. So yeah, DeMusliM has been playing StarCraft 2. Well, he used to play Warcraft 3 as human, so now he's playing Terran. So not a big departure there. I say that kind of jokingly because you know these Terrans are thousands of years in the future. I'm assuming anyway. You know, they have buildings that can fly. So. And let's see, what other trivia do we have? DeMusliM was the only player to be in first in Grandmasters in both the US and the European ladders at the same time, so that's pretty incredible too. So the fact that ChaoxTech is playing against DeMusliM is nothing short of incredible, so give him a hand for that. We're seeing slightly different builds here, both players going for a single gas, and I also, well, I'd like to point out that the average APM for DeMusliM is off the chart. Not that it's like really super high, but compared to ChaoxTech, ChaoxTech doesn't spam at all. You hear those players that you know, APM is, you know, they just keep their, well, it's basically their idling running as quickly as they can so they can convert that into meaningful clicks when they need to. But ChaoxTech's not that kind of player. That's why I wanted to keep the APM chart up real quick. But yeah, I also want to point out the build difference. DeMusliM is actually blocking his front door, and that's not something I see very often. You see it in the beginning until players began using... when players began using Reapers, you began to see more open builds where you kind of cluster your buildings up near the command center, just so that you could protect. Whoa, nice little micro-kiting. Actually going to pull off a SCV kill. So ChaoxTech not getting a scout yet. That might come back to hurt him. But he can, via deduction, conclude that DeMusliM is over here because now in Season 5 you cannot spawn short distance on this map, which, by the way, is Shakuras Plateau. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that yet.
You want a piece of me,
so,
boy?
as I was saying before, when Reapers began being common, I guess you could say, the buildings were moved inside so you can better protect them against that Reaper harass. Now that Reapers aren't used very much, it's a little bit more common to see buildings back at the front, so it's kind of interesting how sort of that metagame changes. Wow, going for a really quick command center for DeMusliM here. In the meantime, ChaoxTech coming out with 4 Marines versus DeMusliM's 4 Marines, so there's going to be a bit of a standoff, except here's the X Factor, a Hellion, and an additional Marine going to be able to pick away at this front door. Nice spread on those, so the Hellion's going to have a tough time, but moving up to get in line with the rest of those Marines, and only losing a single Marine for ChaoxTech, and that could be trouble. But DeMusliM now doing a little switcheroo on his factory and barracks. Gonna start pumping out a tank. Doesn't have enough for siege research yet. Needs to bring these SCVs off the line to try to repair this supply depot. So it looks like DeMusliM was going to go for a siege expand. That is not going to be successful yet. He's going to have a tough time trying to protect that siege tank when it comes out, sacrificing a lot of SCVs in order to fend off this attack, this really early aggression. That overlay is really inconveniently placed. And, wow, actually, the Marines not doing as well against the tank as I thought that they would. And so these Hellions, rather, are just going to be as much of a nuisance as possible for the remainder of this game, or for this attack, just to see if they can get any more probe kills. But as you can tell, ChaoxTech is not sending any more units at the time. Starting to put down a command center of his own, because he's going to be behind economically if he doesn't get something going here. Actually sealing that Hellion in, DeMusliM is, so now ChaoxTech actually could start, well, okay, Siege isn't researched yet, but with that early Viking and single Siege tank, if it has Siege mode, can be super, super annoying, just firing up the ridge here. Lucky for ChaoxTech, he doesn't have any buildings that are too close to the ridge. And so now what's going to happen? Still waiting on moving out that orbital command, which I find a little curious. And I know a lot of players do like to pump out additional SCVs until they feel comfortable enough moving out. Now we're seeing that Siege research finally. A couple more Hellions, they're going to peek up the front, but they're not going to find anything with this front door blocked. Nothing's going to happen here. They might just be waiting for DeMusliM to move out. ChaoxTech is actually getting ahead on the expansion before DeMusliM is. So that is a little on the unexpected side, I guess. Let's check out income, because I want to see the worker count. Wow, ChaoxTech is ahead in the worker count as well. So I'd have to say that's kind of, I'm impressed at the being able to harass yet have more workers and have an earlier expansion, though DeMusliM is a lot more secure in his expansion right now than ChaoxTech is. ChaoxTech not quite finished with that Siege research, only a single tank out. He has a bunch of Hellions, though they aren't very strong against Siege tanks. And I would say it's probably a pretty even matchup right now. DeMusliM does have single Viking, which could help him spot. ChaoxTech, though, getting some Vikings of his own. Oh, he has a Viking, too. So, wow, really even up. It's, looks like both players are pretty much on par with each other. And see, okay, now this is, I said I wasn't going to go into this, but the TBT thing really annoys me, the Viking thing. You don't need Vikings at all. You need one Viking to spot. But then once your opponent starts creating Vikings, you need to have one more Viking than your opponent does. So what's the point of having, you know, a unit where all you need to do is outproduce in that one single unit for against your opponent? Wow, ChaoxTech going for a third really early on. He does have an army advantage, interestingly enough. So looks like he's feeling gutsy enough to go out and press an attack and take that third, while DeMusliM is trying to fend this off. He shouldn't have any trouble at all, actually, with this. I do want to see Viking count. Actually, ChaoxTech does have 5 Vikings, only 3 at the front here. A couple more coming in. Ooh, losing a Siege tank. That is critical. Boy, landing those Vikings, that's going to lose him the precious air vision. However, ChaoxTech moving straight in and taking that last remaining Siege tank. Since there wasn't a second one to help defend. Oh, now a couple at the top of the ramp as well. That's, I wonder if those just came out or if they were held there for safekeeping. And oh no, running the SCVs is the last thing you want to do. I've said it a million times. You never ever want to run your SCVs, and well, then they line up like that, and then the Hellions destroy. Yikes! So let's go back to that workers killed. Yee-haw! 32 workers killed for ChaoxTech. So definitely looks like ChaoxTech has the lead here, has a dramatic income advantage, about on par in terms of army, but DeMusliM's going to have to allocate a lot of resources now to get caught back up. Going straight for the gas first, that's interesting. He seems to have plenty of gas and not very many minerals, but he put those SCVs straight onto the gas. Huh, that's funny. Alright, so now what's happening, ChaoxTech is... Wow, that third is just... It's saturated. ChaoxTech continuing to produce that combination of Hellions and siege tanks, and of course the unnecessary Vikings. Looks about the same, so yeah, okay, we are going to see another fairly stale TVT. Wow, look at the number of siege tanks that DeMusliM has. Okay, well I should say look at the number of siege tanks that ChaoxTech has. 7 versus 6. However, of course, when you're fighting into a fortified position, it's always a little bit more difficult. So let's see who has the unnecessary Viking advantage. ChaoxTech has 1 additional Viking over DeMusliM. So, we're going to see what happens here. Starting to get weapons 1. Ooh, ChaoxTech being a little on the careless side with those siege tanks. Granted, it's tough to get in there without losing some ground, losing some units versus siege tanks. And DeMusliM would be well served to keep some of these tanks, just a few on the high ground. If he keeps some of them on the high ground and some of them on the low ground, then just basically a large spread is all he needs in order to give ChaoxTech a really tough time fighting up that ramp. So yeah, ChaoxTech does have to back off here, lick his wounds, bringing a few SCVs to indeed do the licking. And by licking I mean drilling. Boy, what can I say? It's just another TVT, honestly. Except ChaoxTech seems to be in a stronger position here, continuing to kind of check in this upper position to see if DeMusliM is expanding. He, of course, is not. He has that 3rd built, but has not moved it out yet. Certainly he wants to get on that. Now lifting it off, he is going to try to take that top position. Hellions will be ready to spot it out when it does come along. Raven coming out for ChaoxTech as well, so wondering what he's going to try to find with the Raven. Actually, he could use point defense drone against the Vikings. Otherwise, there's usually not a whole lot of... Well, I don't know if he's worried about cloaked units either. Running in and losing a couple of Hellions here. Yeah, I don't think ChaoxTech has any reason to be worried about Banshees. No. No, wow, nice lineup of tanks here. Oof, and here's where those Vikings come into play. And now ChaoxTech has air superiority. DeMusliM forced to land so he doesn't lose all of his Vikings. Probably going to try to bring a few more in here. They're landed currently, but he's probably going to lift them off and try to take the superiority. And ChaoxTech just has this undisputed vision of DeMusliM's siege tanks. Here comes the new brigade of Vikings, and they're going to be able to take the superiority here. So now DeMusliM is going to be able to start to press out against ChaoxTech, possibly, though it doesn't really look like he's going to be able to break this. ChaoxTech, well, just going to move back, it looks like, interestingly enough. I wish you could tell whose scan that is. I mean, I'm going to assume that it's DeMusliM's, just because ChaoxTech, for the most part, can see what's right here. But it should be tinted. DeMusliM actually taking 2 expansions, so he wants to get in the lead here instead of playing catch-up. ChaoxTech, at the same time, starting to take a 4th, starting to get saturated there, so I'm going to take a look at income again, and income-wise, not that far behind. ChaoxTech does have quite a few more harvesters, and wow, those ravens. I'm just really confused at those ravens. I guess I haven't really seen enough TVTs, especially at high levels, to see when that might be used, if it really is point defense drone. Wow, ChaoxTech sieging up just along one edge of the siege tanks. Going to try to attack the line in pieces, it looks like. He's going to have to be careful for these Vikings, and yeah, there is the point defense drone right there. DeMusliM able to destroy it pretty quickly. He's going to try to chase those Ravens, but back off when he sees that turret. So, maintaining a pretty decent defensive line here. Ooh, ChaoxTech just able to continue picking off like a siege tank or two at a time. Man, I'm really curious as to what DeMusliM is doing right now, where his production is. Oh boy, this could be interesting right here. ChaoxTech has added a few Thors to the mix. That's going to hurt against these clumped up Vikings. But, wow, interestingly enough. So, DeMusliM does have air superiority. Basically got his tanks destroyed, though. That's curious. TBT, not quite as stale as I originally thought. It looks like these Thor are going to be able to finish off DeMusliM's line of tanks. That's going to leave him severely crippled here. You can see that he has basically half the army that ChaoxTech does right now, and his expansions are completely vulnerable. There are absolutely no forces over here, no bunkers, no anything. And, ooh, there was a small little attack here. ChaoxTech losing a few siege tanks, but now here comes the carnage. The Thor moving up here, and SCV's off the line to attack the Thor. And honestly, the Thor are rather low in health. A couple of them are, but with that splash damage versus clumped up SCVs like that, yeah, DeMusliM doesn't stand a chance. He GG's, and congratulations to ChaoxTech on that game. Thanks also to him for sending me this amazing replay. Hey, DeMusliM, that's my first DeMusliM commentary. Also, I gotta say, I'm not just gonna continue commenting ChaoxTech. I'm gonna start searching a little bit more for other level, high-level players as well. Because as I've said before, I get a few more hits when I do higher-level players. I know it's a little bit on the selfish side of things, but you know, hits keep me going. I do, like I said one other time, I commentate on YouTube because I enjoy it, but the comments and subscribers and your thumbs up and everything else, it helps. So feel free to comment and do all that good stuff and tell your friends about me, because I know I'm not a very well-known commentator and I know I'm not that great, but if you give me some feedback and keep coming back, that would be appreciated. Wow, sappy ending to an awesome game. Sorry about that. Thanks. Stay tuned for another replay coming up soon.